Hello and welcome back as we gather together for our devotion time. Today I will be reading out of the book, The Way Back to Mayberry. And today's title is Good for What Ails You. And the episode title is Aunt Bee's Medicine Man. Our scripture today comes from Matthew 11, verses 28 and 29. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. It seems in this day and age that there is a remedy for everything that ails us. Whether we have a headache, stomachache, backache, or toothache, a specific pill or medicine is available to take care of it. It gets even more specialized than that. For example, the type of headache we have determines which medicine we should take. Is our headache attributed to allergies or stress or the flu? If you stop and think about it for too long, it can get rather confusing. Wouldn't it be nice to have one medicine for everything? No matter what our symptoms, we would know just what to take. If this were possible, there would be a lot less confusion at the local drug counter. Let's take it one step further. Wouldn't it be nice if there was one medicine that would take care of all our problems, both physical and personal? Just one pill that would cure everything. Now there's a pharmaceutical company I would want to buy stock in. Of course, it's silly to speculate about such a wonder drug, but do we, in fact, search for such a drug anyway? One that will take care of all our ills. In the episode, Aunt Bee's Medicine Man, Aunt Bee is searching for something that will solve all her problems and give her a new lease on life. But does what she finds really help her situation? The episode begins with Aunt Bee arriving at the courthouse extremely distraught. It seems that an acquaintance, Augusta Finch, has passed away. What makes this event significant is that the late Augusta Finch was exactly the same age as Aunt Bee. This news doesn't sit well with Aunt Bee at all. She wanders into the courthouse, and Barney immediately notices that something is wrong. Moments later, Andy comes in and is also concerned. A stricken Aunt Bee describes what a blow this news is to her. Andy is a little confused because he doesn't remember Aunt Bee and Miss Finch as being close. However, when Aunt Bee comments on their similar ages, Andy begins to understand. The passing of Augusta Finch has caused Aunt Bee to dwell on her own mortality, and she doesn't want to admit that she is getting older. When Andy suggests that a physical exam might set her mind at ease, Aunt Bee angrily responds that all the doctor will do is tell her that she isn't a spring chicken anymore. A little later, Opie calls Aunt Bee's attention to a peculiar street vendor who just arrived in town. It seems that a man named Colonel Harvey is selling a wonder medicine that will cure whatever ails you. Colonel Harvey claims that at one time in his colorful past, he lived with the Indians, the Shawnee, to be exact. During this time, he was made aware of a wonderful Indian elixir that would cure anything from a common cold to depression. Colonel Harvey just happens to be selling this wonder drug for just $1 a bottle. Aunt Bee can't believe what she is hearing. Maybe this is just what she needs. She immediately speaks up and buys 2 bottles. The enthusiasm spreads, and everyone gathered around the truck begins buying bottles of the elixir. When Andy and Barney arrive at the Taylor house that evening, they are in for quite a surprise. They walk in the front door to find Aunt Bee and Opie singing at the piano. Andy states that he can't remember the last time Aunt Bee played the piano like that. Furthermore, it seems that Aunt Bee is a little unstable. If Barney didn't know better, he would say that she was tiddly. Andy agrees, but reminds Barney that Aunt Bee won't even allow a fruit cake in the house. However, When Barney looks in the closet to retrieve his raincoat, he notices a half-empty bottle of the Colonel's elixir. Barney and Andy share a knowing look, and Andy instructs Barney to take the bottle and have the contents analyzed. Meanwhile, Andy finds out that Aunt Bee has invited none other than Colonel Harvey for dinner. While Opie and Aunt Bee are completely taken by Colonel Harvey's presence, Andy is a little more skeptical. However, Colonel Harvey manages to avoid all of Andy's pointed questions about his history and the product he is selling. The evening ends with Colonel Harvey accepting Aunt Bee's invitation to speak at the Ladies' Aid Church Committee the next day. The following morning, Barney returns with the elixir analysis results. The stuff is actually 85% alcohol, thus explaining Aunt Bee's unusual behavior of the day before. Barney wants to immediately arrest Colonel Harvey, but Andy decides to wait. He wants to expose Colonel Harvey for the phony that he is. Andy shows up at the ladies' committee meeting to find that the ladies are indeed gassed. However, Andy's statement that he is raiding the party and all that the attendees are under arrest sobers the crowd very quickly. Andy transports the ladies to the courthouse and provides them coffee to assist in their recovery. Barney brings in Colonel Harvey, and the ladies, especially Aunt Bee, give the Colonel a piece of their mind. This episode reminds me of a song from my youth. Being a child of the 80s, one of my favorite music groups was Huey Lewis and the News. In 1983, one of their top songs was, "I Want a New Drug." Now, I don't believe that Huey was promoting the use of illegal drugs with that song. In fact, Huey Lewis dedicated much of his public effort to encouraging kids to stay straight and make something of themselves. This particular song described his futile attempt to find a new drug that would solve all his problems, but without the side effects. It was a humorous song, but I don't think it was that far off the mark. It reminds me of my tendency to search for the quick fix instead of addressing the real problem. I think we can understand why Aunt Bee was feeling low. It happens to all of us at one time or another. Some event or occurrence will remind us that we are just mortal humans. Instead of facing her fears and uncertainties, Aunt Bee turned to a quick fix, a wonder drug that would solve all of her ailments and make her feel young again. Unfortunately, this elixir ended up doing more harm than good. When I face problems in my life, it may seem easier to go for the quick solution, the solution that makes me feel better for the moment, but ultimately doesn't do much to address the real issue at hand. It's much harder to be honest with myself and really examine the issues in my life that need some attention, because when I take that hard look at myself, sometimes I find things I just don't want to deal with. I would much rather apply a temporary fix than to take the time and make the effort to get to the root of the problem. But in my heart, I know that it is the right thing to do. It might not be the easiest approach, and it might not involve the use of a magical elixir, but it will provide the lasting results I need. Aunt Bee was ready to try anything to make herself feel better, and sometimes we may have the same attitude. But how often do we search in the wrong place for the cure? Jesus promises us comfort if we will bring our struggles and heartaches to him. He will heal us and make us whole again. In our fast-paced world of instant treatments, it's easy to forget that he has the miracle cure. It is the miracle of his life and death, and it's available just for the asking. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.